Well. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever you may be, thank you for tuning in to LockerTalk Podcast, where you hear about NFL stars of tomorrow, today. I'm your host, proud host, Barry Barnes, founder and CEO of LockerTalk.com. And you guys always go to the site, check the site out. I guarantee that you guys will not see anything about the NFL nowhere in the world. I promise you. You guys will not be disappointed, especially if you're a football junkie like myself. But also, you guys can follow me on any one of my social handles on Twitter at Locker_reports, on Instagram, LockReport100, all small caps, on Facebook, LockerReport.com, and also check out the Locker Talk Podcast on Facebook. But you know, that's right, I'm giving you that look. Listen, guys, I'm going to make this really simple for you. If you love football and you want to know some good stuff, I guarantee you, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel today. Subscribe to Locker Talk on the YouTube channel today. You guys will not be disappointed. I promise you, you will not find nothing. I said nothing. Nothing like this anywhere. And you hear what he just said? Thanks for backing me up, Tracy. Make sure you guys subscribe to Locker Talk Podcast, where you guys find out some great information on the NFL that you will not hear anywhere else. And you also can check me out on the Bachelor News Radio Network, where you guys can check me out on the bachelornews.air.time.pro anytime at your leisure. Now, okay, guys, listen. The NFL season, I know the regular season didn't start yet, and we still on the preseason, week 2 of the NFL season. But football is football. We're enjoying ourselves. I know I'm enjoying myself, and I know that you're excited.
I'm so excited.
And that's the proof right there. He's excited. You should be excited too. We're almost there. Now, I know someone that asks all the time, hey, why don't I never talk about stuff dealing with the NFL? Well, I'm not really worried about the NFL. Only time I talk about stuff that's dealing with the NFL is just the regional combine players. That is it. I don't care about necessarily wins or losses. Only for the players who went through the NFL Regional Combine platform, unless we're talking about this guy. Now, if we're not talking about this guy, folks, it doesn't matter because he is the man. Now, I know you guys had some things about this guy and this guy, but this guy cannot compare to this guy, because if I talk about this guy, I'm talking about the greatest of all times. Everybody else who mentioned, and especially these two guys here, these guys can't even measure up. Now, if this guy can have a career at least like this guy, and this guy, then maybe you can probably mention him with this guy. But if I was this guy, I would not have shared mat and cover with this guy, because he hasn't done anything yet.
Compared to this guy.
He hasn't done anything. Until you get past this guy, then we could talk. But right now, if I'm going to talk about the NFL, I'm only going to talk about this guy, because this is all that matters in my world. But other than that, NFL Regional Combine players, that is it. That's the whole focus of the show. And then when I talk about the HBCU players, which we will get to a lot sooner, not later. All right, now, week 2 of the NFL preseason was fantastic. These regional combine players, they're out there kicking butt, taking names. Matter of fact, they're not even taking no names. They actually trying to create a name for themselves. Because that's why this show is all about looking at NFL stars of tomorrow today. So I'm just going to enlighten you of some players to get familiar with. And we're going to definitely get right into some of the action from the players from the NFL Regional Combine during the week 2 of the NFL preseason. I know you guys will not be disappointed. Now, I'm going to get everything all fired up here, because you can tell I am fired up about the NFL. And when we talk about week 2 of the NFL, like I said, a lot of great things, a lot of great highlights of what happened. And we're going to start with the Los Angeles Rams, and then we're going to come back to Los Angeles Rams, and you're going to see why. In this matchup, now, one of the NFL Regional Combine listers, and when I say listers, was players that was going to be in the NFL Regional Combine for the 2020 season, but we know about COVID and all that good stuff. But when we look at these players that made the list, still helped them to get into the NFL. Like, this is one of the guys right here. This guy right here, Christian Rosenboom, linebacker from South Dakota State. Now, this young man is like a box of energy, balled up with long hair and a whole lot of energy, and he don't know what to do with himself. But it's really great because he actually challenged to become a solid NFL player, which we starting to see as we progress. Now, when Los Angeles Rams went up against the Las Vegas Raiders. This was a really, really good game, really good competitive game down the stretch. But we see here with quarterback for the Raiders and Nathan Peterman as he dropped back trying to find something down the field. And he stepped into the pocket and then boom! Almost took his head off. He did not see Christian Risabone coming that fast, and he laid him out on the field. And although Peterman was okay, but it just showed a lot of excitement and passion that Christian has. And then we saw this play here where Christian actually, with his defense, with his energy, helped kept the Rams in this game for the Rams to come back, or at least have an opportunity to come back. Where he had this opportunity here, almost had an interception, but you see how he dropped back in the coverage, jumped the route, and he was able to make the stop. And ultimately, the Raiders had to kick a field goal. That was a really good play by him. We're going to revisit this game back when we talk about some players with the Los Angeles Rams. So make sure you guys stay locked in. Now, another good play now. Reggie Bingleton, solid wide receiver, really put his work in. I would say from the years with him being in the Canadian Football League, he came through the NFL Regional Combine process, several years ago. I mean, he really showed, even at the workout, that he was really that type of player that can garner some attention in the NFL. He came through the process in 2016, did not automatically make it to the NFL there, as we know, but he was able to go and establish a solid career, brief career, with the Canadian League with the Calgary Stampeders. He became a Grey Cup champion in 2018, and he's been tinkering with the Green Bay Packers for a number of years. And so now he's back with them again this year, pretty much a practice squad player. Now he's signed back with his team, and this year I really believe that he had an opportunity to finally become that NFL star that he always dreamed of. He has everything, folks. Look at this. Good concentration, not afraid to go over the middle as he caught this pass here. And then on this play right here, you see he does everything. He even blocked. This guy is really, really complete. And if you really want to use him, really want to showcase him, you can also put him on special teams as a returner. In this game, he was able to have two punt returns where he averaged 17.5 yards per attempt. In this game, he had 2 catches for 15 yards. Make sure you guys watch out for number 84 with Bingleton, Reggie Bingleton. I'm looking forward to him being lined up with Robert Tonyan, who also came through the process. And we know what Robert Tonyan did for the Green Bay Packers last season. Looking for him to pick up off of that to have himself as well a solid 2021 season for the Green Bay Packers. Now, when we talk about we're going to get to this part here, and honestly, when we think about the NFL Regional Combine platform for the preseason for this year, it really comes down to 2 guys, 2 players, 2 quarterbacks. Baltimore Ravens, Tyler Huntley, and Los Angeles Rams quarterback Bryce Perkins. Now, Tyler Huntley, we're familiar with him from what he was able to do last year for the Baltimore Ravens, when he actually had made his debut in his rookie season when the Ravens played host to the Jacksonville Jaguars. That was a game that Lamar Jackson, the Ravens, pretty much blew out. And so the Ravens did the right thing. They pulled Lamar Jackson out and allowed this young man, look at him, how he's throwing the ball really good, really crisp, showing what he can do. And he stepped in, did his great thing there for the Ravens, that matchup. And then he almost could have started a little controversy in Baltimore if he would have pulled off a great comeback against the Buffalo Bills in the divisional round. But we all know what happened in the game. Y'all guys saw an overthrown pass to Marquise Brown. What I saw was Marquise Brown not coming off the line fast enough, like he's supposed to, off his break, running a little slow. And that split second with him coming off the snap slow, it looked like it was a 4-yard pass that was overthrown. If he had ran out his break the way he should have, could have been a different outcome for that game. It definitely would not made Tyler Huntley look bad. Y'all guys going to see it opposite. Yes, I'm a little biased, but who cares? Came through the NFL Regional Combine. He's one of my guys, and I'm going to defend him. But Marquise Brown did come up the break slow. But that's another story for another day. We're going to get right back to this, and we're going to roll at this now. And against the Carolina Panthers, we see here how he was able to do the right thing on the field to be able to set the team up after he threw an early pick. But after that early pick, that's when we start to see Tyler Huntley starting to really get a groove on. Passing the ball, making good passes, intermediate passes, doing everything he can to put the Ravens in a situation, and they was able to come out on top for the Carolina Panthers. That was a solid game for Tyler Huntley to win that game in winning fashion, showing that he's definitely a legitimate backup for one, Lamar Jackson. Now, the other player, like I said, for the regional combine players, for this preseason, it really comes down to two players, and it's the second player. Talking about Bryce Perkins, quarterback for the Los Angeles Rams. Now, this young man, I'm telling you, from Virginia, he is. I mean, look at how look how he controls the field. See how he going through all his progressions, going with different receivers, going different passes. You see here, going into the backfield with Xavier Jones, a running back, another player who came through the process, doing a fantastic job in this game. I mean, he just would not stop. He just would not let up on the Raiders in this matchup. And then you see here going with JJ Kolsky, who JJ actually led the team in receiving yards in this matchup. He was targeted 10 times and had 8 catches in this game. But you see how Bryce Perkins is really orchestrating this offense to the T. Now, earlier in the show, we talked about what Christian Rosenboom did with his energy coming on the field, kept the Rams in the game by forcing the Raiders to kick a field goal. Then all of a sudden, Bryce Perkins and company get the ball back. He marched them down the field. Fantastic orchestration on his part. He got him in there, and then he threw a 2-yard pass in the back corner to Harris. That was a fantastic play. Good breakdown how to read the defense on that. But the Rams ultimately went for a 2-point conversion. They fell short, and they lost that game by 1 point, 17-16 to the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, when we think about the regional combine, we talk about many times, well, I've talked about it, but the quarterbacks is really hard to really project what type of talent you can get from quarterbacks, because quarterbacks are always throwing at the regional, throwing to unfamiliar guys. They don't really have the luxury of the scouting combine to say, you know what, I'm not going to throw today. You know, I'm just going to wait to my training day, I'm going to my pro day, and I'm going to go throw to a whole bunch of guys who are familiar with what I'm able to do, and to make the quarterback look very good. But when it comes down to regional, hey, you have to stick with who's there, and you have to make do. We have no idea how many other good quarterbacks probably could have came through that process, but when we talk about that, Nick Mullens, backup quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles, and also Alex McGough, backup quarterback for Seattle Seahawks. They were the two that's been holding it down for a while. Now we had Joe Callahan, who came from Westlake University, who's been in the league. He's been out the league for a couple of years now, but he bounced around on practice squads. But these were the guys that was holding it down for quarterbacks. Tyler Huntley and Bryce Perkins, these guys are going to make it really interesting for the platform of showing that yes, quarterbacks can come through and be successful here and then ultimately get into the NFL. These two players here is really going to show that quarterbacks can be successful going through the regional combine, getting themselves acclimated to be able to get to the NFL. Now, they did not have their workouts due to COVID, but however, still having the opportunity off that listing to get to the NFL, along with a lot of things they did, having accomplished collegiate careers, training right, all those good things, along with being on the list, really helped these guys get to where they are. And now, real soon, folks, these two players is going to really show out. Now, we know that Bryce Perkins probably not going to get on the field because of Matthew Stafford being there, because he is that big money guy. And the last thing we don't want to see is someone get hurt. We don't want to see that. We don't want nothing to happen to Lamar Jackson. We know that Tyler Huntley is not going to get on the field, barring injury. And that's something that we clearly do not want to happen, correct? Nah, we don't want none of that stuff to happen. We know that with the play for Matt Stafford and Lamar Jackson, these guys are not going to drop off. They're going to have excellent years. This is what we're all looking forward to. But if something was to happen, we're not wishing nothing bad on those guys, just for the sake of the regional combine. Nah, we're not going to do that. But hey, if that number get called, best believe that these two teams, the Rams and Ravens, are going to be in great shape with these guys there. Now, to wrap up everything else that happened in week 2, and we talked about Alex McGough, quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks. You see here, Seahawks did not have their best game. Alex did not have his best game, but he did some good things on the field, reading through his progression, showing his arm strength. Nice hit, nice floater to the running back to the other side of the field. Good instincts, how he delivered the ball, and you see that his cadence have gotten a lot better. I still think that he can be so awesome, like a Taysom Hill for the Seattle Seahawks. I really believe that Pete Carroll going to use him in different ways, because he is a complete athlete. But this young man definitely can be a star, especially in the NFL if he's used correctly. I think that some things can really work out for him, because he is a legitimate NFL player. Then we look at what happened with the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, Cincinnati Bengals, they have Mike Thomas, wide receiver, who's been there this second year. He had a catch in this game, doing pretty good, trying to rebuild himself there with his career with the Cincinnati Bengals. He had 3 catches in this game for 14 yards. And then Andre Jones, 7 tackles in this game, folks. Really good outing for him. You see here on these 2 stops, he did a good job in what he was able to do against the Washington football team, which was really, really good on his part. And then with the Washington football team, he had Colt Holcomb, who had 2 tackles in this matchup. Now, one other player that's been through the process for a while, and I love this guy, and I want to see him definitely have this opportunity after bouncing around several teams, with Brandon Bryant, defensive tackle for the Buffalo Bills. And the Buffalo Bills was really, as you saw the highlights, how they dominated the Bears. Some regional guys really got off in the game. We had Terrell Adams, linebacker, who had 2 tackles. Justin Zimmer had 2 tackles. And then F.A. Abada, he had 1 tackle. Almost got close to a sack. But they left all the sacks there for Bryant, as he had 1.5 sacks in this matchup. Really getting to the quarterback. Hopefully he'll make his team and get some significant impact with the Buffalo Bills to join his other fellow regional combine players that's on the Buffalo Bills squad. And then Tyrod Johnson, wide receiver for the Los Angeles Chargers. We saw him break out last year. Really looking for a big year from this young man, as he had wrapped up with 2 catches in this matchup. And for the rest of the highlights, make sure you guys go to LockerTalk.com and see who else had some good outings in week 2 of the NFL preseason. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys check it out next week as we get into some more good stuff, as we get into the end of the preseason of the NFL. I'm Barry Barnes, founder and CEO of LockerTalk.com. And make sure you guys go to the site. Check out what's on there with the NFL, especially if you love this game and want to see something different in regards to the NFL, what you hear and see every single day. Make sure you guys follow me on all of my social handles, where you guys can follow me on Twitter at @Locker_report. On Instagram, LockReport100, all small caps. On Facebook, LockReport.com, and also check me out on LockerTalk Podcast on Facebook. And of course,
Do it! Just do it!
It's happening.
Just okay is not okay. Especially because
that's right, it is happening. We're growing, folks. Subscribe today on YouTube, where you guys can follow everything that's going on. Hit that subscribe button right there. Make sure that little alert, that little bell go tinkle, and when it hit, you better look at it, because if not, I'm coming for you. See that big finger? Yeah, coming for you. Better do it. And also check me out on the bachelornews.air.time, airtime.pro, where you guys can check me out 24 hours a day on the shows that is put on online. Everyone stay blessed out there. Come on, folks, football is right here. Man, it is time to get busy out there. I can't wait. I don't know what to do with myself. It's going to be like Christmas for like 7 months. You know what I'm getting at. Everyone stay blessed. Talk to you guys soon. Let's get it. Let's go. Let's go.